I was originally Jewish, but had for the past 3 years buried my Jewish identity in order to try and survive, would have just raised a sly sneer. Didn't do much good, did it? Running that gauntlet had worked for a while, but in the end being sent to a camp had come suddenly, without warning. The only preparation, a last-minute emotional meeting with my agent, Julian Reisner. I'd be transported as a Catholic dissident rather than a Jew. And don't admit you're Jewish in there. It'll be tough, but ask for Dieter Meisel as soon as you get to the camp. Make sure he gets the letter I've given you. He's the vice commandant there. It'll be tough. That became clear from the outset as I was led away by 2 soldiers and shoved at rifle point into a cattle truck with 20 others. Then the steady descent into hell as the train trundled slowly east. Ludenberg, Nysa, Oppeln, Kielce, Warsaw, Lublin, Chelm. The journey seemed never-ending, the truck getting hotter, more cramped and fetid with each stop. Bodies jammed up tight against each other, hardly room to move or breathe. And with no choice but to relieve ourselves where we stood, the stench of 2 days' urine and feces now had an ammonia bite to it, robbing what little fresh air remained. Shallow, labored breathing and some heavier, tortured gasps punctuated by occasional groans and wails, which might draw a few stares. Not so much of pity or concern, but surprise that anyone had the strength left to cry out. The largest groups had been loaded on at Oppeln and Warsaw, and I'd become separated from Ernst by those fresh surges of people. Probably best. My mouth was too dry to continue talking, even if I'd had the strength or will to do so. And some had already succumbed. I could see 4 bodies lying prone on the ground, and no doubt there were others at the far end out of sight. From one body there'd been some movement and barely audible groans for a while, but for the past few hours now any movement had stopped and there'd been silence. Some eyes lingered on the bodies longer than they should, somber reminder of the fate awaiting if the train journey continued much longer. It was cold early morning and at night, and the first people on had shuffled around to keep warm. Now nobody had any room left to move, and the stifling press of fetid bodies had risen the temperature tenfold. An unbearable heat which had also sucked the moisture out of our mouths. That afternoon some raindrops from a heavy slanting rain outside sneaked through a chink where the compartment's wood boarding had broken away. 3 mouths close by opened up, seeking those few precious drops like newborn chicks for their first feed. One of them then started licking the dampened wood at the hole's edge. I could hardly move by that stage, with the press of bodies around. All I could do was look on with bewildered envy. As I felt someone brush hard against me, I clutched tight at my woolen coat, the automatic response to pickpockets, before reminding myself I had little worth stealing. Currency has no value where you're going, Julian had advised. The only thing that can be traded is tobacco. So sewn into the lining of my coat were several pouches of tobacco and a few personal family photos. All my life had now boiled down to. My heart clenched with the reminder of the family I'd left in Vienna, my eyes stinging. But there were no tears, not sufficient moisture left in my body even for those. I must have fallen asleep at some point, that same press of bodies holding me virtually upright, because next thing I recalled was jostling movement and the shouting of German soldiers. "Sich beeilen! Come on, get moving! Out! Out!" I shuffled along with the surge toward the opening, 8 huddled bodies on the floor now, though I could see one faintly stirring. "This way! Keep moving! Keep in line!" Eyes stung by the sudden light, even though the sun was cloud-shrouded and weak, my gaze fixed on an SS guard to one side, in particular on his holstered water flask. "Please," I implored, holding a hand out, "some of your water?"